Hey guys! Okay, so I don't have the best connection and I'm gonna just power through this video. So if my words don't match my lips, sorry, but just listen to what I'm saying, and most of it will be on the screen anyways. But if we don't have normal school, if we are out of school and everyone is 100% virtual, then this is what our class will look like for the most part. I will be recording these videos and posting them, and then you will be responsible for your lessons. So we're going to be starting the year off with a just basic geometry overview, talking about some vocabulary, talking about lots of different things. If you look in the module that has been assigned to you for week 2, you will see that I have given you a blank glossary. If you have a printer at home and you want to print that out, you can add in the definitions as you go. That glossary is just for you and your learning, okay? So nothing that you have to do, but something that I would definitely encourage you to do. And just have so you can study, because we will have some matching vocabulary on your quiz. Okay, so also when you guys submit this, we are using something called Kami. This is a new app to me. I've never used it before with students, but when you open it up from the module, it should be embedded in a Kami assignment. So when you open it up, it's going to ask you to sign in. Well, you've probably never created a Kami assignment before, but you will sign in with your Google account for Caddo. So you will click on the sign in with Google, and then you will use your my.caddoschools.org email. If you don't have one of those, or you don't know one of those, you need to let me know so that I can help you either find it or figure out how you're going to do this assignment, okay? Once you do that, it should be done for the rest of them. You should just be able to open those up. Within Kami, there's lots of places that you can put in text box and type things in. You can, obviously you could print that and write it by hand and then take a picture of it and submit it. It lets you do all of those things. If you are totally stumped by Kami, you need to go to YouTube and Google, how do I use Kami? And it will, Kami is spelled K-A-M-I, and it will show you lots of different things that you can do on Kami and help you be able to submit your assignments through Kami. Okay, you can always email me if you have questions. All right, are y'all ready? Here we go. All right, so our first lesson for today, which is August 31st. Okay, today's August 31st that you are going to be doing this assignment. This is about geometry basics. So if you wanted to put up here, Geo Basics. The first thing we're going to talk about is a point. Hopefully all of you know what a point is. You've done lots of plotting already in your previous courses. Everyone, I'm sure, has done one of those, like Christmas trees where you have to connect the dots. So that deals with points. A point is a location. And we're used to having that location on a coordinate table, which is an XY coordinate. But in geometry, it doesn't actually even have to be in a specific coordinate plane. It can just be located there. That is the location A. So it is a location. It has no size or shape. We're typically used to seeing points as a dot, but that's not something that has to be the case. Always use a capital letter to name a point. So for this one over here, that is point capital A. Point A. All right? Line. The next thing we're going to talk about is line. Again, we're used to seeing lines as something that we graphed with a linear equation, but a line could be anywhere, like that line that you're looking at here in our example. So a line is made up of points. Any 2 points form a line. A line has no thickness or width. Name a line by any 2 points on the line and a lowercase script letter. Okay, so you can name it by any 2 points on the line. For example, I could call this X, Y, and you're going to put a line on top of it with arrows on both sides. Okay, then you could also call it line, and this would be in script or like cursive N. That's a horrible N. Anyways, it's supposed to be a cursive N, or we could call it line X, Y. So you can either physically write the word line out and then the 2 letters, the 2 points in capital, or with the bar over the top of it with arrows on both sides. It has to have those arrows. Now, collinear points, points that lie on the same line. Non-collinear points, points that do not lie on the same line. There must be at least 3 points. Okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is a plane. A plane is a flat surface. A plane is a flat surface made up of points. Any 3 points make up a plane. A plane extends indefinitely in all directions. Name a plane by any 3 non-collinear points on the plane or an uppercase script letter. Okay, so they can't be in the same line, which all of these are kind of around, so we're just going to say that this is plane. And we're going to say 3 non-collinear points. So I'm going to say K, J, L. Can you think of another one? Maybe LPK or KLJ. Any of those, it's got to be 3. Or it could be with the script letter, which in this case is P. You can see that P down there, that's script. That's an R. Obviously, I struggle with script. So, a pretty P. Alright, coplanar points. Points that line on the same plane. So, coplanar points. Points that line on the same plane. Non-coplanar points are points that do not lie on the same plane. There must be 4 of those. So everything that we're talking about right now is basically vocabulary. We're going to continue on down to intersecting lines and planes. Okay, if you can hear Coco Melon in the background, sorry. But we're working through this. It says intersecting lines and planes. Where 2 lines intersect at, what's that called? It is a point. They intersect at point P for this one. And then it says 2 planes intersect at a line. Good. Okay. All right. Now, we're going to actually practice doing some of this on this page. So it says, using the diagram to the right, name the following. 4 collinear points. Now remember, collinear means that they are going to be on the same line. So I'm going to look at the one that's running almost up and down. So those 4 points are H, N, K, and I. Those are all on the same line. So I'm going to use those. The other lines only have 3, so that would be the only ones that we could use. A line that contains the point M. So if we look at point M, sorry, I was trying to make that better. Is that better or worse? Hold on, y'all. I think that's better. Okay, y'all. So if I look at this one, point M, M is here. Remember to name this line. You can either use the cursive P and name it line P, or I could have named it by any 2 of the points, which is N-O with a line and 2 arrows on top. Okay? A line that contains points H and K. So it has H and K. Well, that's this one that's running up and down. Again, you can call that whatever you want. Let me make sure I said that right. H and K. And it's a line that contains points H and K. So that's going to be line R. Okay. Line R, that's a cursive R. You could have just written R, doesn't matter to me. Or you could have named it based on any 2 of those. So I'm going to say N-I this time. Says another name for line Q. Here's line Q right here. Again, you can just name it by any 2. So I'm going to say J-K. That one would have been acceptable. You could have said JL. That one would have been fine. Or you could have said KL. Okay. The intersection of lines P and R. So here's P and here's R. We're looking for the intersection. That's going to be right here at N, point N. So, point N. No line above it because it's not a line, it's just a point. All right. Number 2. Number 2 says use a diagram to the right to name the following. A line containing point F. Here's point F. I'm looking for that line. We're going to call it line J. Okay, line J. Another name for line K. So K, you can see, is dashed. Which what that means, you guys, is that it's going underneath that. So that's like a plane, like a piece of paper. And that would be like me stabbing this with this pen. And this going through the pen, through the paper, out the other side. Okay. Alright, so K, they want another name for that. We could say BC, line BC. Or we could have said BE. Or we could have said EC. Now, I'm just giving you all of these. When you're answering your own questions, you can just give me one. A plane that contains point A. So here's point A. It is on plane J. Plane J? Nope, that says I got it wrong. Oh, here it is. M. That's the name of it. I was using the line. That's line J, so it's plane M. An example of 3 non-collinear points. So these would be points that don't lie on the same line. So they want non-collinear points. Well, definitely A, because it's not on any line. So it's not going to be on the line with anything else. Then we could say B, this point is here. It's not on the line of A. And then you could use one on this line, which would be D. That's just one example. You could have said A, B, F. That would have been fine. Or you could have said A, D, C. That would have been fine. So lots of different options. The intersection of plane M and line K. So K is going through here. This is the plane. They intersect at point E. Okay? Number 3. Coplanar points. All right, so we're looking for 3 coplanar points. They're on the same plane, but not on the same line. So we could say V, Y, V, Y, and W. Or we could have said X. That's just one possibility. A plane containing X. So here's X. A plane that contains that would be this large plane here, which is plane R. Okay, that cursive R right there, that names that plane. The intersection of plane R and plane Z, Y, V. I'm sorry. Z, V, Y. Z, V, Y is this one. Okay. And what are we looking for? The intersection of those two planes. That's going to be at the segment VY. Now, we haven't really talked about that, but if it's just a segment, that's not a line because it doesn't continue going on and on and on. But those two things, the plane and that like triangle plane, they intersect here at the bottom. And that's a segment, okay? So we would just put the bar over the top. How many planes appear on this figure? All right, so we've got R, which is the largest one. Then you have the base, which is another one, so that gives us 2. And then each of them has a side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so with the plane on the bottom and the 4 that are coming up, that gives us a total of 5. All right, and the plane. So y'all, hey, this one on the bottom that's squared in, that's not separate than plane R. Okay, it's all there together. They are on the same piece, so therefore they're the same one. It counts as 1. So that's why there's only 5. 1 for each side of the pyramid, and then the bottom down there would be another one. How many planes contain W? So here's W here. It is on plane R, the base, so that would be 1. It is on this side of the pyramid and this side of the pyramid. So that means 3 total planes. Last but not least, we've got 2 planes that are running up and down, and then we have a line that's going through those. So it says, use the diagram to the right to name the following. The intersection of lines L and M. So we have line L and we have line M. We're looking for the intersection. Should be easy. E. E for easy. Then we have another name for plane Q. Here's plane Q, and remember it can also be named by any 3 points that are non-collinear. So I'm going to start with I up there. It's all by itself. Then we get to say F, which is on this line. And something that's on this line, we would say E. Which, I know you're probably thinking like F and E are on the same line, but I is not. So since I is not, it's going to allow us to use that. So I guess we probably should put the word plane, I-F-E. All right, 2 more, y'all. The bottom says, are planes D and E collinear or coplanar? What do you think? The points D and E, these points here, are collinear because they are on the same line. They are not on the same plane. Then the last one says, how many times do planes P and Q intersect? Well, they don't. None. 0. All right, so these are our notes. This is our practice. If you were in my traditional classroom, we would have done these things together. This is what I would have considered your notes. And then the next page is what is your homework. Okay? This is what you are doing on your own. If you would like to work with a classmate, you guys can work together. You can FaceTime each other. But I do not want, like, Sally to do this whole paper and send a text message of it to all of her friends. That is considered cheating. Okay, if you guys want to work together, throw around some ideas, I think that's fine. I just don't want you copying someone's entire worksheet. Alright, if you're working on Kami and you can figure out how to do it on Kami and use the editing, that's great. Otherwise, you could write this on this if you have a printer, or you could write it on a piece of paper. You could say 1A, write your answer. 1B, write your answer. Then you could take a picture of that and submit it to me as your work. If all else fails, you guys just send it to me in an email. Alright, I hope that we are back in the class together today. But if we are not, y'all stay safe and I will see you soon. Bye.